Ahoy there, me hearties. Piscean Pirate Queen here with an update for you today, and today I'm going to be talking to you about abuses of power. In astrology, the planet Pluto is our guide to power and corruption in all of its forms, and Pluto is currently in the final 2 degrees of Capricorn. Capricorn rules our established order around which our world is governed and controlled, and this includes all of the politics, religion, education, public life and government systems, the law, the police, etc. And of course we must also include our world governance because that's part of the Capricornian structure as well. And what we've seen lately is our illustrious leaders all around the world in the last few years joining hands and singing Kumbaya as they attempted to save us all from the power of viruses. So what the past few years have shown us is that we're living in times where certain rich and powerful men, mainly, have decided that they're in control even though no one elected them. And one of these men is Bill Gates. And Bill Gates recently visited our Prime Minister in Australia to talk about heaven knows what. I guess they'll let us know in good time. That's how controllers work. And I'm amazed actually that Bill Gates managed to pass the fit and proper person test to enter Australia, having visited Epstein Island apparently, allegedly 37 times, an island where young women alleged that they were sexually assaulted and held captive on that island. And I think Ghislaine Maxwell was put into prison for her part in the affairs that went on in that situation. And anyway, obviously he hasn't, none of them have been held to account. But anyway, that's all going to come to an end soon. So today is an especially special day for me because today marks the 24th anniversary since I left a relationship that I was caught in and which had me headed towards those jagged rocks over yonder there. Being a Piscean Pirate Queen requires great bravery, so I took my 3 children, aged 11, 2.5 and 12 weeks, and I did a classic Pirate Queen leap of faith over the cliffs of certainty. Of course, I wasn't a Pirate Queen then. I was a timid little mouse, and I had no idea how I was going to navigate through those treacherous waters that I knew lay ahead of me. So I placed my trust in my God, in my divine creator, because I knew if I relied on my own powers, I had no hope and I would never leave. And so today marks the occasion of my liberation, so I thought I'd share a little poem just for fun. And I wrote this poem to try and capture the mood of that special Sunday 24 years ago. And it's called The Day I Left Your Father. The day before I left your father, I managed to pack an escape bag, nappies, a few clothes, hope, not enough to raise suspicion. The day I left your father, the cat leapt out of an empty packing box, bounced off the wall and marched into the kitchen like an ally. To drink the milk, I watched you empty into her bowl, leaving none for your father's coffee and an excuse I could use to pop out to buy more. While your father took a shower, I called my mother. We spoke in code. It was complicated with your uncle stationed as a possible backup guard. I had a rough plan. A successful escape often involves an element of surprise. I managed to grab the car keys, hoisted your baby sister onto my hip, grabbed your little hand, and reassured your uncle I'd be back in 5 with fresh milk for their coffee. Your father appeared behind me like a grenade. Where do you think you're going? Grateful my escape bag hadn't made it through security, nor the one I'd buried our identity documents in. I pictured it forgotten by the cot, motionless as a body bag, a zip between our birth certificates and the unravelling of our escape. Your uncle emerged from the dark of the house, displaying my bag like a hooked fish. You won't get far without this. So, if you enjoyed that, I'd like to direct you to my website, which is www.pisceanpirate.com. sacredheartsoulcarecentre.com, where I am currently uploading my astrobiography in chapters, and chapter 1 and my dedication is there already. Chapter 2 will be going up quite soon, and the book that I'm writing is called Astrology Saved My Life, and it uses astrology to interpret life events and circumstances. So 24 years later, there's been a lot of water under the bridge, and I don't see myself as a victim of an oppressor. I see myself as someone who was in an energetic relationship with the perfect person to teach me the lessons I needed for my own growth and awakening. And that's how I've liked to use astrology. So I will also be uploading an interpretation of the chart of Mr. Bill Gates, with some emphasis on some of his special midpoints and other things. Midpoints are supposed to show us the underlying personality, which gives another dimension to an astrological interpretation. But today I also want to share with you a Sabian symbol, which I selected. It's a random selection, so I wanted to ask the Sabian Oracle for a message for today in relation to this podcast that I'm doing. And the one that I got was 20 to 21 of Scorpio, which is obeying their conscience, a soldier resists orders. So this is about being a pirate queen. So this symbol shows someone whose conscience stops them from following a certain course of action, staying with a project or relationship when they'd rather leave, or someone not prepared to compromise their values to do something that society says they must do. You may find yourself in situations where what you're expected to do is against your inner values, and we should always pay attention to our inner values, because what goes on inside of us is related to our connection to divine source. So if something doesn't feel right to you, you do what's right for you. You may have to make the difficult choice between allegiance to duty or your own inner truth. True freedom can only be found when one faces situations with a sense of integrity and preparedness to face the consequences, be they positive or negative. Personal morality, doing what one's conscience dictates. Longing for a return to a state of love and innocence. Love that restrains, not following orders, and going AWOL. So some great imagery there for today's talk. And as I said, if you'd like more information about my book, Astrology Saved My Life, or if you'd like to read about Mr. Bill Gates, a little bit of an analysis of his chart, that will be on my website as a blog very soon. And thanks for listening.